Hey, what's going on, shrimp keepers? It is Shrimp Saturday. Today I want to talk to you about Mishlings. I kind of want to just go in depth with them, talk about what a Mischling is, because I know it's a term that us shrimp keepers use quite often. And some of you are just getting into this hobby, or maybe you're not into this hobby yet, and it's a fun hobby. You should get into it. And so, but I just want to go over what a Mischling is, how you create them, different things like that. And yeah, it's gonna be good. So I'm excited to talk about it. I got a really cool tank of them going. That was kind of on accident how it all happened, but it all works out, and it all just comes together sooner or later. And speaking of that, I'm getting married next weekend, which is awesome. Everything's finally coming together. The wedding's all working out, and it's just gonna be awesome. I'm really excited. We moved my fiance into the house, at least all of her stuff. She's going back to spend the week with her parents, so that's really exciting. And so I don't know what I'm gonna do this coming week with a video, but I'm gonna figure something out. So regardless, I'm gonna get you guys a video, even if it's at my wedding. And so it's gonna be cool. But let's go ahead. Let's get into talking about Mishlings, and let's enjoy this Shrimp Saturday. So right now, and I apologize. This tank, actually, you know what? This tank is too dark. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a light. Let me pause the video real quick. Okay, that is a huge difference. So hopefully you guys appreciate that. We can actually see shrimp and see colors now, which is always good. So basically what I want to cover is I want to talk about what is a Mischling. That's the big thing. I really want you guys to walk away with that. What are the benefits of Mischlings? How to create a Mischling, different things as far as that goes. And then get into like the percentile of if you're breeding Mischlings, what percent of what type of shrimp are you going to get, and so on and so forth. And just at the very end, I'm just going to go over the basic tank setup and kind of just give you guys a brief overview. But that's why I saved it for last, because it's very dependent on where you're getting your shrimp from and stuff like that. But so let's start by what is a Mischling. So right now you're looking at the tank, and you're probably thinking like, oh, those just look like crystals, and truthfully they are. And as you can see right here, this is actually a Taiwan Bee. That's actually a panda. The way you can tell is just really just the color. I mean, it's obvious. Crystals, they have like faded colors, and again, it doesn't show up on video, but it does have some faded colors in it. And the Taiwan Bees don't have faded colors, so that's one way to tell, but that's not what the video is about. A Mischling is a shrimp that was mixed. It's a crystal shrimp that was mixed with Taiwan Bees in order to produce Taiwan Bees. And so usually this is done when you take a crystal shrimp and breed it to a Taiwan Bee shrimp, and then in turn you're going to get offspring that are both crystals and Taiwan Bees, and that type of shrimp is considered a Mischling. And this is really cool. So this is a really nice black panda. And I'm sorry for the glare on the screen. I wish I could do something about it, but I can't. And here's another panda up here. So that does show that there's definitely some breeding going on here. I get a lot of black Taiwan Bees out of this tank. And here's a nice one too. Yeah, so there's really some great shrimp that come out of here. And so a Mischling is really just a cross between a crystal shrimp and a Taiwan Bee. And so I really don't believe in crossing shrimp. I don't, it is what it is. I don't like hybridizing. I just like, and granted, most of the shrimp that we do keep are hybridized. And hybridizing is when you mix two different species of shrimp. That's what that term means. And so I don't really believe in it. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of shrimp that have been hybridized that I do keep. And I keep them in steady strain, so I keep them all by themselves. Like the Royal Blue is a hybridized shrimp, and so I wouldn't have that shrimp if it wasn't for hybridization. But the thing that's bad about hybridizing things is you really get lost in what the shrimp actually is. So it's easy for someone to buy these shrimp off me, which I don't sell them regularly. I don't list them on the website. I might do a special just for you guys if you guys really want these ones. But I don't sell these, and most people would sell these, and they would sell them as crystals. They would say, hey, this one is a crystal black shrimp. This one's a crystal red. And the truth is, that's not what the shrimp is. It's a Mischling because it was mixed. So it's not true to its form. And you'd really have to breed it over a few generations to be sure that you're not going to get mutts out of it, like different colors. You know, you're gonna get reds from blacks and blacks from reds and goldens in there. And so when you hybridize, you really lose what the shrimp is. And as we know in the shrimp industry, everyone's always the shrimp hobby. I don't know why I call it an industry, but we're always buying shrimp that have these weird names. And really, it's just people making up names for stuff. And that's where all the confusion comes in. And so that's why it's tough for, hobbyists like yourselves, because when you buy something, you don't really know what you're getting. And that sucks. And so that's why I don't like hybridization. Now, it's necessary for the shrimp industry. It's necessary for, again, the shrimp industry. It's necessary for our hobby, because without it, a lot of the really cool shrimp that we see today, or the cool fish, we wouldn't have. And so it's good if it's done in an appropriate way. But there's good ways to do it and there's bad ways to do it. So let me get into the actual benefits of mixing a Taiwan Bee with a crystal shrimp to form a Mischling. The benefits are genetics. So when you mix two different shrimp that come from two different lines, family trees, you're going to add a lot of genetics into the mix. So a shrimp that otherwise is unstable, like the Taiwan Bee has been extremely unstable, especially in the past. I mean, it's a lot more stable now, but in the past it was really bad. And so nowadays, Taiwan Bees are a lot more hardy, and that's mainly due to the fact of Mischlings. And so by taking a crystal shrimp that is pretty easy to keep and mixing it with a Taiwan Bee, luckily it doesn't mess with the coloration, it doesn't really mess with the quality of the Taiwan Bee, is you really increase the genetic pool line of the shrimp, which makes it a hardier shrimp. So that is the benefit, is you can really increase the health of the shrimp, as long as you can do it in a way that's not going to change the appearance of the shrimp and different things like that. So the first question that I had when I started learning about Mischlings is, if you breed a crystal shrimp with a Taiwan Bee, wouldn't you get some funky patterns? And surprisingly, it's not true. So what happens is a Taiwan Bee, let's say I breed a Taiwan Bee male with a crystal female. And so the crystal is the one holding all the eggs, and this works for both ways. And so that crystal is going to have babies, and every single one of those babies is going to look like a crystal shrimp. None of them are going to come out Taiwan Bees. I've never had any come out Taiwan Bees. I don't know anyone that's had Taiwan Bees from first generation. So F1s, which stands for first generation, always come out as crystals. And those are the first generation of Mischlings. And so now that shrimp is considered a Mischling. It's got a Taiwan Bee parent and it's got a crystal parent. And so you can say that shrimp has 50-50 genetic lines for both ways. And so now what most people do is they breed those Taiwan Bee or those Mischling babies with, again, a Taiwan Bee shrimp. And now you're increasing your chances of having Taiwan Bees. And so now that those baby shrimp that are F1s, stands again for first generation, they're going to be bred to Taiwan Bees. And F2s, that's when you're going to start actually seeing Taiwan Bees. And I'm not going to say it's going to be an even... Hey, sorry about that, guys. The video cut out on the last one. My cell phone's been acting funny lately. But anyway, with F2s, that's where you're really going to start seeing the Taiwan Bee babies. And the great thing about Mischlings is a Taiwan Bee baby is 100% Taiwan Bee. And what I mean by that is it's no longer considered a Mischling. It comes out, it looks exactly like a Taiwan Bee. It is a Taiwan Bee. And so if you breed that Taiwan Bee that came from a Mischling parent back with another Taiwan Bee, you're going to get 100% Taiwan Bees. And that's where the genetics really improved for Taiwan Bee shrimp over the past couple years. Now, if you breed two Mischlings together, and so those are two that look like crystal shrimp, so we'll call them the F1 generation. If you breed two F1s together, you're still going to get some Taiwan Bees, but you're going to get a lot more Mischlings out of them. And then the farther the generation goes, F2s, F3s, F4s, if you don't reintroduce Taiwan Bee parents after the F1 babies, you're really going to see a decline. So this tank right here is a tank that I've had going for quite some time. I've really never introduced new Taiwan Bee parents to it, and so it's just the Mischlings from the initial F1s, and they've just been breeding, and I've got some You know, I would say out of 100 babies, I probably get 5 to 10 Taiwan Bee babies. So the genetic line is still there, but it's not as prevalent as it would be. And I honestly, I would argue to say you could get up to like 30, 40, you know, 50% if you're really doing something great. And Taiwan Bee babies from Mischling parents have a higher chance of survival. It seems like they always do better. They're hardier. Like this tank that you're looking at right here is a tank that is fluval shrimp stratum. And I am going to get into just the basics of a tank setup. And yeah, this is just fluval shrimp stratum. It's nothing crazy, you know, it's a cheap substrate. It works really well for crystal shrimp. That's why I initially kept these on here. And it's just been doing well. But this substrate is over 2 years old. It's needless to say, it's lost its buffering capacity. So this tank hovers right at 7 pH, and these guys are thriving in it. And there's Taiwan Bees, as you can see right here, that are doing well in it too. Normal Taiwan Bees would not thrive in these conditions. But for whatever reasons, the ones that come from Mischling parents do just fine in here. And so it's very safe for me to tell you guys that Taiwan Bees born from Mischling parents are hardier than Taiwan Bees that are born from Taiwan Bee parents. And so if you guys, again, I know I didn't explain this. If you don't know what Taiwan Bees are, they're like your blue bolts, your black King Kongs, your pandas, your red wines, you know, your pintos, different things like that. And so those are what Taiwan Bees are. And so a basic setup for these, this is where it gets confusing, is I always recommend to talk with the person that you're buying them from. So if you bought these shrimp from me, I would recommend fluval shrimp stratum, and I'd recommend a TDS of about 140, maybe 150. I'd recommend some sponge filters, a piece of driftwood, some plants, some moss, some nauseous grass or guppy grass. Like those are the things I would recommend because that is what I am breeding these in. If you buy them from Joe Schmo down the road, Joe might breed them in completely different parameters, and so if you put them in the same setup that I have, they're not going to do good. And that's why most people, when they buy shrimp and they die, they're like, what'd I do wrong? Honestly, you probably didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't match the parameters of the person that you bought them from. And so that's just my little 2 cents on that. So the actual tank setup, the basic tank setup, is exactly whatever the source is that you're buying them from. But what always works for me is what you're looking at. Sponge filter, fluval shrimp stratum, the works. And so I know that video is a little scatterbrained, and I apologize for that. I hope that you guys actually learned something from it. And there's a lot going on with the wedding and stuff, so I didn't have time to really sit down and think through the video. But I figured it at least insightful to learn, like, you know, one of the funnest parts about the hobby that most people find, and that's the genetic side of shrimp. You know, breeding this with that. I don't do that. I don't do hybridization just because of what I talked about in the video. But a lot of people do, and they find fun in that. And you know, to each their own. I would never criticize someone for it at all. And so even though I don't agree with it, you're free to make any decision you want. And really, the hobby is here to enjoy it, so please enjoy it. And so Mischling's is one example that has proven to be a huge success and really has benefited this hobby. And so I do support that. So I hope you guys understand what a Mischling is, what hybridizing does, at least in this case, the benefits of it. And hopefully you guys are willing to try this out on your own. One thing I do want to recommend, and I kind of missed over this, is if you are going to breed Mischlings all by yourself, I highly recommend using a Taiwan Bee parent, so a dad, Taiwan Bee dad, so you know, a male shrimp, and then a crystal female. And that could be a crystal red, it could be a snow white, it could be a crystal black. And the reason I recommend that is because crystal shrimp are a lot hardier, and they're a lot easier to get buried and have survival rate. And so I always recommend that. So that's my little 2 cents on it. It makes it a little easier. But I hope you guys are having a great weekend. Being safe out there, that's always important. It's all good. I hope you guys are enjoying Shrimp Saturdays. I know I enjoy making them, and it's a lot of fun. I've been getting a lot of requests. I'm going to do a video on shrimp foods. I know I've been getting that request a lot. A lot of people have been talking about doing a video on blue shrimp. like blue dreams, blue velvets, blue pearls, the blue malawa that I have, and there's a lot of cool stuff down the pipeline. So hey, wish me luck at my wedding. It's gonna be a great time. I'll try to do a video for you guys, but you guys make it a great week, and I'll talk with you soon. Later.